Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management, a weekly conversation with area leaders about how to persevere during uncertain times. Now here's your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. It's brought to you by Worth Wealth Management, where they enhance lives and strengthen families. You know, we're talking about families here today in a lot of different ways because we typically deal with challenging times. And our guest today, Kylee Graves, is with the Family Crisis Center in Great Bend. And I know there's many times families have crises, but I think, Kylee, you see a lot of different ones and you help support with not only advocacy, but you help secondary victims of domestic and sexual violence, child abuse, neglect, and all those sort of things. And so we want to know more about what happens at the Family Crisis Center in Great Bend. So welcome to our program, Kylee.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have a couple of different sides of the agency. The first being the Domestic and Sexual Violence Center side, and that is where, like you said, we help victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and stalking. We have a shelter located here in Great Bend for individuals that are fleeing from any type of those abuse. And then we also have a child advocacy center on the other side of our agency, and that is for kiddos ages 3 to 18 who have an open investigation with the Department of Children and Families or law enforcement. And we help conduct forensic interviews for those children because what we found is children or adults who have experienced abuse do not want to have to tell their story over and over, as that's very traumatic. And so we bring children in and we conduct the interviews, and then we testify in court for them so that they do not have to get up and testify and retell their story. So those are a few of the things that we have at our agency.
Boy, you have a list there that I could probably spend the next hour and a half talking about. Unfortunately, we don't have that. But you mentioned a couple things. One, human trafficking. That's something that seems to be in another world somewhere away from here. But it's unbelievable the stories that I am now hearing from people in Kansas that are involved with human trafficking or have had people they know involved with that. That's scary.
Yeah, there has been a huge increase in human trafficking. And one of the big things that our agency has been trying to do in the last year is just educate people. The more that people know about what's happening here, Kansas is an originating state for human trafficking, and Great Bend, especially, is a meeting place for trafficking happening all over the nation. And so we have a lot of trafficking going on around here. And so the more we can tell people about it, it looks a lot of different ways. I could also talk for hours on this topic, but just one of the things that we are doing is training all of our first responders and law enforcement in all of the counties we serve on being able to recognize it. And then we also have purchased a curriculum to go in and talk to middle school and high school kids about it, because those are some of the prime targets for trafficking right now. And so the more kids can know, the better.
Well, you focused on that in January. What's your focus in February and March as we move forward?
So February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and so we offer a lot of programs to different high schools. We serve 10 counties, and that has 21 high schools in all of our counties. And so one of our big pushes to get out there and talk to kids about healthy relationships, and we have several different curriculums that we go in and teach. I have several advocates, and that is their full-time job, is to just go and talk to kids and teach kids. And then we also purchased a human trafficking curriculum to add to that so that we are increasing their knowledge of that as well.
So, February was National Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. What does that look like when you're talking to a group of students of what they should look for? Because I assume there's warning signs that the family might see or somebody else, but how do you get out of that? Because sometimes the kids are get wrapped up in that. So social media ties into that. They get so wrapped up, it's hard to really help them, especially if you're a parent of one of those. What do you teach in those classes?
You're absolutely right. It is very hard, and it's hard as a parent. I think social media is escalating that and making it very, very hard. We see that that's how trafficking is starting as well. But one of the main things we talk to kids about is what are the warning signs? What are the red flags? As a parent, if you're seeing that your kids are isolating themselves, or another big thing is if they're getting random gifts in the mail. We see that that is a warning sign. Depression, anxiety, if those things increase, if your kid is having to constantly be on their phone or sharing apps with like with their significant other, those are red flags. And so we just talk to them about what to do if you have friends that are going through that, ways that you can help them through that. Um, those are some of the topics we cover.
Is that go under your safe dates curriculum that you guys have?
Yes, so we have a safe dates curriculum that has 10 different lessons. And then we have a safer, smarter teens curriculum that has 6 different lessons. That's including the human trafficking. And then we also have a simulation that we go into called In Their Shoes. And it is like a simulation of teens that are experiencing domestic violence. And you get to choose and be the characters and walk through a life in one of those situations and decide how you would get out of it. And so we do that in a lot of our high schools, which has led to great conversations among kids and just ways we can step in and help.
It hurts my heart when you talk about having to have these kind of discussions because you don't expect that. But in today's world, I think social media plays a big role in that. And all of a sudden, a kid gets yanked out of their normal family environment, if they have a family environment. And next thing you know, there's a whole different thing going on in their world. And gosh darn, having that sort of training for parents to recognize, because sometimes parents have a tough time intervening in that type of thing.
Yes, and we are trying to reach the parents more. We're going to start offering some more parenting classes and parenting education. One of the big topics that's coming up is sextortion and what that means. And so we've been doing some training internally so that we can go out and share that as well. And just how can we continue to help kids so that when they become adults, they're not still coming to our office for help because they're finding themselves in that cycle of abusive relationships. I think the younger we can start teaching kids, the better.
So when you say sextortion, explain that to some of our audience of what that means.
Those would be like being groomed online, being having, guys buy you things or start grooming you, and then there's being kids taken and their lives being taken because of this. And so our teens are so quick to send videos or send pictures or not know who they're adding on Snapchat, and they don't realize how scary that is. And so just making sure that we're talking to our kids about don't add someone if you don't know them. They might say they're from, Wichita, but they're really not. And so just teaching our kids all the safety around that.
And I assume once something gets out there, pictures, etc., then that's where the extortion side comes in. And
Yep.
now you can't get out, and they're embarrassed to talk to parents about that as well. So all scary stuff. So when your organization gets involved, I know you have a hotline. What happens there? Because many times the hotline is there after some of this stuff happens. I know you're working on the training, but how does the hotline work?
Yeah, so we have our hotline that you can call or text 24 hours a day, and it is answered by someone here at our office. And so we have during the day, our office staff answers it, and then at 5 o'clock when our office closes, it's answered over at our shelter. And then we have on-call advocates. And so if someone needs to be met with and it's 3 in the morning and you send a text message and say, hey, I need someone, we're going to send someone out. So we meet with people 24 hours a day, every day of the year. So if someone needs something, we're always here.
So it's not like it goes to answering service, and then in the next couple of days you get back. It's an immediate service that people can
Yes.
use to get in there. So one of the things that I know some people would look at, do they pay for this service?
No, nothing at our agency costs. Every single service we offer is free. So that includes us coming and training. If there's, organizations that you work for that want training, we will come in. Nothing that we do cost. If anyone utilizes our services, everything is free.
So how do you pay for that then?
So we are grant funded. A big portion of our staff are paid for by grants and then fundraising. We have a couple of fundraisers coming up in March, and then the rest of it is all grant funded.
Well, what happens in these fundraisers? Because somebody out there may be listening from one of the counties that you serve and say, "Hey, I'm fortunate I don't have somebody in this environment that I know of. Um, what do I do to help others in this case, and how do they get involved with what you're doing in the fundraising efforts that take place in March and April?"
So in March, we have our women's bunco event. And so that is on Friday, March 27th. And it is at the convention center here in town. It is our 10th annual bunco. And then the following night, we started a men's awareness event, and that is a cornhole tournament or bags, whatever you call it.
Hmm.
And that's for men the following night on March 28th. And so if you log on to our Facebook and go to Family Crisis Center, you're going to find all of the information about that, or our website has the information. And some people just they don't want to come to an event. So there's always ways to donate. We have a QR code, we have a Venmo account. You can log on to our Facebook and also just donate funds there. We're always looking for volunteers as well. If someone just wants to give some of their time, our basement at our office is a free thrift store. We've turned it into a store down there. And so anyone in any of our counties that needs free clothing, free household goods. You are welcome to come get whatever you need for free. So we are always needing volunteers to help keep that going as well.
Well, I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to go through that again, how people can connect with you, Kylie, because you never know when this need happens. But if
Right.
you know where to go and how to get started in that, that's a real help. Kylie Graves is our guest today on Forward Ever. We're going to take a quick break from Worth Wealth, and then we'll be back and talk about how you can connect and maybe what you should do to maybe train in advance on how to make that happen should you end up or a friend end up in that particular environment. Thank you for listening here and watching on Forward Ever. We'll be back after this.
Since 1776, the United States of America continues to stand tall. It's been tested before, many times. Through grit and the ability to move forward, we create better tomorrows. We help our clients live their best lives to and through retirement. We make it easier. Thank you, Kansas. Worth Wealth Management, enhancing lives and strengthening families.
Welcome back to Forward Ever, leading in challenging times. We're talking about families and families in crisis. Kylie Graves is our guest today, and she leads the Family Crisis Center in Great Bend. They serve 11 counties, 21 high schools. It's Barton, Barber, Comanche, Edwards, Ellsworth, Kiowa, Ness, Pawnee, Pratt, Rush, and Stafford. So that's kind of the middle western part of the state. Is that how you describe it?
Yes. We have
I,
an office here, and then we also have an office in Pratt. So yeah, that is a good description.
I was trying to see how that fit on a map, not that I didn't learn all 105 counties in the state of Kansas, but it seems to me like it's that center heart of Kansas kind of place where that works together. Two offices. We went into the break saying, okay, maybe your family's not in crisis today. You don't have an issue. Some days I know in my case, it feels like there's a crisis going on somewhere all the time. But if it involves sexual abuse, it involves those things that you and I have talked about. It's nice to know there is somebody you can call to at least connect and do that. So you have the 24-hour crisis hotline. Is there a number for that you can give us here?
Yes, so the crisis line is 620-792-1885. And you can text or call that anytime and someone will respond within minutes.
Boy, that's good to know. And the familycrisiskansas.com site, how does that work?
Yes, so you can go to that site to find the latest things that we're doing as well as just some general information. And then if you're wanting to make a donation, there's also a place on the website you can donate. If you forget how to get a hold of me or you just need an email address, those are on there as well. So you can reach us at any time.
And somebody just wanting to reach you, is there an office number there in Great Bend or Pratt so they can just call the? Some people still like to make a phone call. I know my mom, she likes to write a check. She's not going to do any of that Venmo stuff. Not that she doesn't know about it, but she doesn't trust it. And some people just don't trust those things. They just rather bring the money down or bring a check down. How do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so you can call our office anytime. That number is 620-793-9941. And then our office is at 1924 Broadway in Great Bend. And we are here Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Let me ask another question because this program covers a good part of the state. If somebody calls you, they may be listening to this. Can you connect them with a local program that may be in their community that, even though it's not in your 11 counties, um, can you connect them with others?
Yes, absolutely. We're part of a coalition, because we are accredited through the Kansas Coalition. And so, um, if someone calls and they're in another part of the state, we will get them where they need to go. A lot of times we are transporting people and moving them from, maybe they're in Great Bend, but they're not safe here and they need to be in Kansas City or whatever. And so we work with a shelter up there and we are moving people and transferring people all the time. So as long as you get a hold of someone, we will get you help and get you where you need to go.
So if you feel unsafe for whatever reason, you see something going on in your family that doesn't seem right, the Family Crisis Center seems like a really good place to start. And you operate out of Great Bend, but even then you can go and go through your office to get to somewhere else or find that office, but don't just sit and hope for better things to happen. I mean, that just doesn't work.
Absolutely. Please call if you're worried, if you just need someone to talk to. We don't care what time of day it is. We're always here to help.
Okay, website you go to Family Crisis Kansas. Pretty easy to remember. Familycrisiskansas.com. And we're not talking about kids with the flu. We're talking about those things that whether it be dating, whether it be uh, relationships that are bad, whether it be helping somebody that you feel is in trouble, that's a great hotline. Do friends ever call in, or is it only parents and all that? Do you have like neighbors or friends call in and say, "Hey, I think this person needs help"?
Yes, we do. That happens a lot. Unfortunately, for our domestic and sexual violence center side, we have to talk to the victim because we can't, because of the danger that they might be in. It is not always safe for us to call. And so we have to wait for them to reach out to us. So if a neighbor calls, we're going to say, please go get the victim, have them call us back as long as um, we hear them in the background or we can talk to them, we're able to help, but we're not just going to pick up the phone and call someone if a friend gives us their number, just because we don't want to put anyone in a dangerous situation if they're not safe.
Boy, thanks for all you guys do. How many on your team, Kylie?
We have 24 full-time staff and about 5 part-time staff right now. Hoping to expand. We want to start some new programs, and so I'm looking for new grants and trying to expand our services. So hopefully more.
Wow, you do guys, it sounds like you do a great job. Kylie Graves is our guest today. And Kylie, thanks for being on the show to fill us in on what you guys are doing. Certainly important, not only in the Great Bend and the 11 counties you serve, but all across the state of Kansas.
Yes, thank you for asking me.
Kylee Graves, our guest with the Family Crisis Center in Great Bend. Thanks for listening to our program. It's brought to you by Worth Wealth Management, where you can live with confidence. I'm Gary Shorman.
Thanks for joining us for Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management. Join us right here next week for another episode with host Gary Shorman. Until then, remember to move forward ever, backward never.